G'day guys, welcome back to TT the podcast. This is our Q&A special where you guys can send in questions and I'm going to do my best to answer them for you. So I'm always talking about being neutral energy. Neutral energy when I'm approaching a horse. What does that mean to me? Yeah. When I am teaching somebody and I ask them maybe to move the horse on a circle and they given the suggestion to the horse and the horse starts to take the physical action and he moves around, and then I ask the person to be neutral, straight away the people tend to take their energy down, and then the horse responds to that energy and the horse stops. Or there's a rider there and I say, okay, give the request to go into trot, to make a transition. The horse starts trotting and then I say give him the reward, and then the rider just sits, keeping the pressure on the rein, keeping the pressure on the leg, keeping the horse in that trot stride, helping him, supporting him, holding him, restraining him. They have stopped pushing him with the leg, but they're now in this moment of maintaining what they have. And so with the example of someone going on the ground, and I say, you know, you tried to give the request and the horse has the feeling that he is doing it, that you're not micromanaging him, you're not keeping him, he has the sense that he's in control of himself, not being controlled. This is also a process that doesn't require us to keep the horse going. This is also not requiring us then to control the horse when he goes too much, but we give the request and we go to a neutral position, means that we are feeling ourselves, we feel the circulation of energy within ourselves, but it's not connecting outside of our body. So when we talk about a neutral position, for me, that's an energy that stays within ourselves, that's not traveling down through the ground, giving the sense of bringing the energy down so that our horses are feeling his energy is going down, so I'm bringing my energy down. The horse starts to follow, understand. And when I ask a horse something, I always think of the horse never gets softer than the first pressure you give. So we talk about a sensation as the first bit. And I haven't thought of more things to refine it to another sort of psychological level yet. But a sensation, then a thought, then the body language, then the voice, and then the physical action. And we have it in that order so I can get to a sensation. I have a sensation in my body and the horse feels the sensation. Now, there's also having a sensation in your body that you keep to yourself. And then there's a sensation in your body that you have and you give to somebody else. You will let it be a projection of yourself. And when you can learn about energy, and this is, of course, the basic language of how animals and humans and everything communicates through energy. When you have a really good awareness and understanding of your own energy, you have more control over it. You can work with more within the subtleties. You start to be able to have a choice, part of your non-conscious state of where that's going. You don't have to think about it anymore. And so when you start to understand this level of energy, you're able to feel where the intent of that energy is projected. Are you sharing it? Are you not sharing it? Are you moving it internally within yourself? Are you moving it internally within yourself that you're letting somebody feel it from the ground on the other side of the room, or are you presenting it from the middle, from your center towards that person? Are you bringing it through your visual system? Are you letting someone feel it through your hearing? That you start to be able to have a sense of all the forms and shapes and spaces and colors and weights that your energy can take, all those forms. Then you start to feel where you're able to place it. And the neutral place, for me, in a basic level of conversation, is I have the sensation within me. So the horse goes out, we give the command, he starts to trot, I go into a neutral position to let him feel that I'm not asking anything and I'm not receiving anything from him. when I get the sense that the circulation and energy and the awareness of energy is within me, it's that he can start to replicate the same, and that he can start to move, and he's just with himself. He feels himself. He has an awareness of himself. He's not giving some of that energy to me. He's not letting some of the energy out of the body. He's feeling and having an awareness and a sense of the characteristic action and direction and purpose and meaning and feeling of the energy within his body. And if I'm able to do that, I know I'm able to leave my horses with the sense of self, to know oneself, to feel oneself. And the more you start to be able to practice that in all areas of your life, when you walk, when you talk, when you present yourself to somebody else, when you have a person with high energy and you absorb it, or you give it back to them, when you start to be able to exercise this in a conscious state, you start to become more aware of it in an unconscious state or without thought. And then you're able to know where it is and know what is neutral, how much is neutral. You know, on some horses, they need a lot, some they need less. So on the approach to the field, I'm not looking at the behavior. I'm not looking, is he turning away? You know, is this horse fresh? Is he not? No, I'm feeling myself, because I know before I even get anywhere near the field or inside the gate or inside the stable, the conversation's already started before I get there. So if I have the awareness of this, what is neutral, I can be in and around a horse without actually affecting him at all. Yeah, but it just depends what you have on the other end of the conversation. If you have a horse with high energy and he's wanting to express that, you wanting to share that, or do you feel in that moment it's too much? Or do you feel in that moment he's going to create an action that's not going to be creating a good conversation? And so, first of all, it's being able to sometimes be just under the level of energy, so you can start to draw him into a conversation. You want to bring him, encourage him, attract him to a level of energy that you take a little bit above his, so you become the leader. It's a little bit like playing music. You know, you're just playing totally free with somebody else, and in one moment one person takes the lead and he starts to be a bit provocative, and then the other person takes the lead. He goes a little bit the other way. And it's the same a little bit with the energies, that you're able to feel. First, sometimes it's important to match the energy so that you feel comes some kind of synergy, so that you can start to go a little bit together, and then you can lead him into another action. Or you go back to the more neutral in that moment of synergy, and you sort of encourage him to say, well, you show me what we're going to do, where we're going to go. And it's being able to have this feeling of interaction, of feeling yourself, because you have to know where you're creating an entry point. You know, it's like somebody you come in, you go, oh God, here she is again. You know, often that person doesn't have a sense. You know, they walk in, they're like, whoa, she's always the loud person in the room. You know, or somebody's insecure and they walk into, you know, they've been at the party and they say, oh, we didn't see you the other night. And they're like, yeah, I was there the whole time, but nobody noticed them because of their level of energy and their interaction and the openness and the projection of self. So it's having a good understanding of your own energy, to know how do you meet another person. When you understand your own energy, you can meet and read the energy of the other. So for the person that's a little bit insecure, or the horse that's a bit insecure, you don't come in a dominant way where he really retracts away, you know, and you're not having too low a projection of self of that person that's really loud, that doesn't even see you, the horse that goes right over the top of you, because you're not at a level or a frequency in which he is even aware that you're there. And that ability to have an awareness of yourself brings you in the right specific spot to enter the conversation with that specific horse, with that specific energy. Also on that day, you know, some days the horses are at a lower state, some at a higher state, but it enables you to read also how your horse is on that day, and makes you adjustable like water to be able to flow into a state that is going to be able to make a good connection, to be able to have a good conversation. And so the more we have the awareness of that, the more we're able to travel into spaces and places and not have influence or have influence, meaningful, we start to be able to regulate what sort of feedback we're getting back, because we understand what we're putting out. So being in this neutral space is the learning of oneself, the understanding of oneself, in order to be able to be in a perfect operational system of oneself, so that you project yourself into the world, not just with horses, in the way that you intend, because you have knowledge about it.